Welcome back to my YouTube channel at Lecturer Wilberforce Tari. I'm going to take you through complex numbers, but specifically we're going to tackle what we call complex conjugates. Complex conjugates. Complex conjugates. By conjugates, we just mean changing the sign of a number. If it is -2, the conjugate of -2 is +2. So -2 is a conjugate of +2. So for example, in an example which we did in the previous lesson, we had an equation here which was x² minus 10x plus 29. We saw that the second solution was 5 minus 2j. This is a complex number having the real part and the imaginary part. This is the real part and this is the imaginary part. Now, this equation or this number 5 minus 2j is almost the same as the first one, which we got 5 plus 2j. So only the sign of an imaginary part has changed. The number 5 minus 2j is said to be the complex conjugate of 5 plus 2j. So this one is a conjugate of this one. And we realize that the only thing that has changed here is a sign. Here we have a negative sign and here we have a positive sign. So these two numbers are conjugate of each other. In general, to find the complex conjugate of a complex number, to find the complex conjugate of a complex number, to find the complex conjugate of a complex number, the sign of the imaginary part is changed. The sign is changed from positive to negative or vice versa. We denote the complex conjugate of a complex number as Z. So this is a complex number. Get this clearly. Z is a complex number. This is the denotation of a complex number, but the conjugate of this complex number is Z bar. So when you see somewhere anything written as Z bar, this is a conjugate of a complex number. So we have said that we denote a complex number with the letter Z, and we denote the conjugate of a complex number as Z bar. Get that one clearly. We have an example here. Let's say example. A complex number Z is given by Z1 is equals to A1 plus B1J. You can see this is a complex number. We have the real part and the imaginary part. The imaginary part is the one which has a J. And we have, that is the number. So the question is, state the real and the imaginary part of Z. So when you are required to state the real and the imaginary part of this complex number Z, we have the real part is A and the imaginary part is B. As we said earlier, this is the real part and this is the imaginary part. Write down the complex conjugate of Z. The complex conjugate of this A1 plus B1J is equals to, this one is, we said that we denote a conjugate of a complex number as Z bar is equals to, we actually change the sign. We actually change the sign. So we have A minus BJ. So this is the conjugate of this one. This one is the conjugate of this one. I hope that one is okay. Thank you so much.